Today, my friends, we're going to be starting a war. This is the one and only Warzone's NPC system, and it's an incredibly cool mod that lets you set up your own war zones, and it's fully customizable to be whatever it is you want it to be. I do want to thank a lot of people. So many people in my Discord suggested this that it would probably fill the entire screen if I included everyone, or like probably 10 minutes of me listing out all the names. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say thank you all for suggesting this. This is a really cool add-on. Let's go ahead and take a look, and it all begins within the settings. Go ahead, hold Q, go on over to Warzone NPC system right here, and this is where you're going to do everything. Now, first things first, this is going to let you know how to open up the map key, and that's M by default. By pressing M, you're going to open up the map, and this is where you're going to get all the information that you want. We're going to go over everything that the legend is referring to once we actually get those things loaded in. So we're going to go ahead and make it quick. There's going to be a lot of different things, but we're going to start off in the NPC configuration. Now, this does support VJ base, DRG base, Z base, all the main bases. Those NPCs will supposedly work with this system, which is a huge plus if you ask me. Now we're going to go ahead and just kind of make this simple. I already have a few NPCs laid out, but we're going to start from scratch. Let's say we wanted to add like a Metro cop. Let's go ahead and do this. Click it first, then do add NPC. You can also add NPCs manually by using their names here, but we're going to go ahead and use this system. We're going to go ahead and add some zombies, why don't we? And for the final thing, why don't we go ahead and add someone from the rebel side? All right, the medic. Once you do this, you're going to notice that you're going to have different options for each of the NPCs you put down. For starters, we have a percentage chance here that we can change. That's going to determine which one of these is going to spawn. So a third of the time, of course, it's going to be the zombie because right now it's even. But you could outweigh the balance a bit if you want. So if you want to have more zombies but less of these guys, you have full control over that. You can also save it as a preset, which is really awesome. Going into the settings here, we're going to have a bunch of different options for, well, this entire thing. We can change the zone size, NPC players per zone. So if you want to have, 5, which is the default, let's go ahead and just start the system. Clicking this button will then begin everything, and it'll all make a lot more sense now that we have it actually going. This is it. This is the system at play. It's going to spawn in 5 NPCs per block, and as you can see, there's a lot of NPCs. Alright, so because we're just starting this first mode, I wanted to make it simple, and we're gonna just do the combine. Now you can see we have 5 combine per block. What does that per block mean? Well, when you press the M key, now things are going to start lighting up, and we can start understanding what all this means. These blocks are the individual sectors that determine the spawns, and this is going to really matter when we get into the faction system of this add-on. So you can see, like right up here, we have 8 NPCs in this one zone. You can see where we are in relation to everything else. Now, these little houses right here are the barracks, and that's what's going to spawn in the NPCs, and you can even see them on the map. This is going to be where each respective faction will spawn from. And of course, yes, you can destroy them if you do enough damage. Now the cool thing is that as you move, you can see that the zones kind of load in relation to where you, the player, is. So as we kind of move down the map here, you can see these zones have kind of despawned. However, they should still be calculated, or at least doing what they're supposed to be doing outside of view. And right here you can see now it's just kind of focusing on the areas that we're near. Now, if you wanted to just have this and just have a bunch of combine to fight, you can totally do that. Let me just go ahead and actually make it to where they shoot me. There we go. And as we do kill them, we can start to clear out zones, but because there's just so many combine and they keep kind of spawning in no matter where you go, it's gonna take a long time to actually take them all out. You can see the zones will clear up as we start taking out the NPCs in the area. So we can't see there's like one more in this area. It could be either of these. Okay, yeah, there's still one. I don't know which one that is. It is kind of hard to tell how big a certain zone is, but it's definitely one of these guys. Yep, there it is. Now that we've taken them out, you can see there is no more NPCs in that zone. The zones will get more red the more NPCs that there are. Okay, very basic stuff. And whenever you want to stop, simply do stop system, and the system is done. Now let's go on to the real meat of this add-on. Alright, so we're going to actually forgo all of this, and we're going to enter in war mode. Once you do this, the settings will completely change, and we are now going to go over to the war mode settings, which is an entirely different faction setup. Now we can choose different teams, and you can see I've already gone ahead and done that. All you have to do is simply do add new side. It's going to add a new one. I'm going to go ahead and delete that though because we already have two. Once you have the sides set up, you can edit them and you can change the color. For the Combine, we're going to go with a nice dark red. You can choose the name of the side, and then here's the settings where things get really important. You can choose the amount of NPCs per zone. 10 is a lot, so I'm going to go down to 5. You can choose the different settings like the officer chance. The officer is one of the main NPCs. They don't really describe what they do in the description, so I'm really not all that sure, but I assume they're pretty important considering how rare they are. We have boss chance, which is pretty cool, and then you can also choose the model for the barracks, but we're going to keep all that the same. The important part is choosing what NPCs each side has, so here is where you can do that. You can choose any NPC, including ones from VJ Base, DRG, Zippy. We all know that. And this is the NPCs that we have. You can choose the spawn amount. You can also choose what weapon they spawn with, which that is pretty cool. But we already have all that set up. And then for the rebels, we have something similar. We changed it to blue just to differentiate them. We have the NPCs. You know, I'm going to go ahead and give them another one. And you know, I'm also going to change that from 10 to 5 because that'd be very unfair. Okay, what should we give them? I'm going to go ahead and give them an Alex. Go ahead, add Alex. There we go. Now that we have that set up, you can also edit the zones. This is where things get really cool. So this is what it looks like by default. I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to clear everything. There we go. Now that everything's cleared, you can choose the Combine, which I imagine you guys can't see. So this is what it looks like. You choose the different type of factions. We're going to go with Combine first, and then you can choose where they will occupy when the war starts. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of set this up here. Hopefully this should be somewhat fair. Now for the rebel side, we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to try to eyeball this. Okay, so we have 5 going down here. Go to 5. Okay, looks pretty fair. Now you can also choose the location of the barracks and also a boss location. We're also going to pick an officer for each side, try to make this as symmetrical as possible. Now that we've done that, we can apply it. And then when you are ready, when you have kind of chosen everything you want, we can now begin starting the system. Now, okay, we're on the wrong side. Okay, it looks kind of crazy, and we're probably going to end up dying. So I'm actually going to disable so that we don't die, so that they can actually fight each other. And I did make it to where these guys are our allies. And now we can see the war has gone into full tilt. It is absolutely amazing. It's so easy to set up. You click a button and it just works. And that is honestly one of my favorite things about this add-on. Rockets are flying everywhere. It truly does feel like a war zone. And if we kind of just go up so we can kind of, well, ignore the noise for a minute, we can open up the map and look at all of this. All the red is the Combine occupied spaces, and the blue is the Rebel occupied spaces. And we can see that they will capture the spaces. So, like right here, we can see the blue is moving on to the red. If they kill all of the Combine in that space, they will claim that and it will turn blue. And it's kind of like a fight over territory, which, you know, we've seen in a ton of those strategy type games, which unfortunately I don't play a lot of and I'm very bad at, which is probably why I'm not the greatest at explaining this. But now that we've gotten close, we can see all the different types of NPCs. There's 11 here, 4 here, 6 here, and if we go to where the allies here, the rebels, are trying to claim, okay, well, we got caught in the crossfire. We can easily see how they're trying to take over the spots, and the entire map is going to dynamically change depending on who is winning and who is losing. So right now the Rebel, as you can see, they do have more zones, so they are currently winning. And the best thing is, because the Rebels are on our side, oh wait, this is a boss! Oh my god, she's huge! I did not know they actually increased the size. Yeah, there's the skull. So this is what the bosses look like, and she has 400 health. Okay, so they have about double the health. That is so funny. Oh, and she's even following us. So we have a nice little squad here. We can now go forward onto Dawn, take out all the NPCs, try to claim some land. And the cool thing is that you can totally do this with your friends in multiplayer. It does work. There's also a lot to this that you can customize like I showed you guys, but I didn't want to overwhelm y'all with a ton of different settings in this video. I wanted to show mostly what this add-on does in action because it truly is amazing, and I can see why so many of you suggested this. It's also probably hard to hear me talk over all this gunfire. But now we're going to kill all these Combine. It's probably really unfair that we're obviously on their side, but that's what the Combine gets for messing with us. Now we can see that we have started to claim, and we can see there is an officer that is actually approaching us very quickly. Oh my god. I want to see what the officer looks like. Is this the officer? This is indeed the officer, so the officer is also a bigger NPC. I assume that they kind of lead, judging by the name officer, of course. But yeah, I mean, you can see like this right here, this squad is apparently going to be moving towards this area. It's just cool to see the strategy kind of being laid out in front of you like this. And that is, of course, the beauty of this add-on. Now that we've started to kind of take over this sector here, you can see the Combine, they're not respawning because they can only truly spawn either at the beginning of the war or from their barracks. Now you can see that we've even started to take control of the center platform, which is really awesome. This is a good strategic area so we can kind of get the high ground, if you will. Now the lag, of course, will definitely be there if you have a lot of NPCs loaded in. Like right now, I mean, there's like 20, 30 or so odd NPCs loaded in at any given time. So it definitely can be a bit stressful on your computer. And yeah, all the different bodies, of course, that's probably the big thing on top of all the gunfire. Now the funny thing is that the barracks are oddly enough kind of close to each other. Like over here you can see the barracks are right next to each other. Like right here, these are two ally barracks, and then this is one of the enemy barracks just right in view. So the barracks will kind of spawn randomly even though you've chosen specific spots. You probably can't change that. There's a ton of different things you can change, but I do hope that this was at least a good enough description of this add-on and an amazing display of all the chaos that can ensue. But of course, at the end of the day, you guys are the judge. What do you think about this add-on? Is this something that you would like to mess around with? It's super fun, especially when you do throw in custom NPCs. So give it a shot. Let me know what you think. And as always, leave a like, subscribe if you want. I'll see you all in the next video. And until then, thanks for watching and farewell.